Hey everybody, Tanya from Shooting Star SVG here, and today we are going to continue on our passive income journey, and we are going to talk about how to price your digital artwork. This is lesson 7 in our passive income bootcamp, and the reason why I wanted to bring up pricing is because a lot of people have no idea where to start, myself included in this, and I just wanted to go through some highlights on what you should be doing when you are pricing your files. And just keep in mind it's a constant evolution. So I'm going to go through some of the stuff in my Etsy shop so you can see kind of how I price things out and what my guidelines kind of are. And you can go by those, or you can totally go by with whatever you're comfortable with based off of the level of intricacy and effort that you put into them. So as always, if y'all are looking for more tips and tricks, please feel free to hit like and subscribe below. That way you'll get notifications when I post new videos, not just for this bootcamp, but also for different design techniques, social media promotion, search engine optimization. I mean, anything you can really think of, I'll be posting in the future. So go ahead and give that like and subscribe button a click below, and you will be up to date on everything that goes through this YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, go ahead and join my Facebook group, Shooting Star SVG, where I post new videos and free files and other tips and tricks that may not be on my YouTube channel. So let's get started, right? So you can see the first thing that I have here in the blog post is the importance of properly charging for your files. I get a lot of questions like, why is it so important? Should I be charging the same amount as some of these people are? You can go on Etsy and see some of these files being charged for like $1 or $2, and you're probably thinking to yourself, how are these people making money? And the simple answer is don't charge the same as everybody else. Okay, we put a lot of time into our design work, and it is very critical to communicate to your audience that you provide amazing work, and generally lower prices equate to lower quality when most people think about things like that. You can kind of relate that same thing to clothing. You know, you could have the same shirt, one at Walmart and one at some high-end boutique, and the price difference is astronomical. But someone may be more likely to purchase that item from a boutique because they feel like there is higher quality put into that work when it is in fact the same item. So that's kind of a good analogy to keep in the back of your mind. I guess the importance really is you don't want to sell yourself short, and you can't worry about what other people are doing. When I first started my Etsy shop, I was maybe only charging $2 to $3 a file, and I wasn't getting a lot of passive income from that. I actually found that when I increased my prices, somebody had recommended to me very kindly to increase my base minimum to $3.50 on Etsy. Once I made that increase, I actually got more sales and in turn received more revenue from my sales as well. So that was a really good thing. So keep in mind that your base minimum should be reasonable depending on what you sell. I do provide SVG files, but I have a base minimum for other things like digital paper and brush strokes and things of that nature, as well as bundles. So now that you understand why pricing is important, you need to really think about how to know what to charge. And it can get subjective based off of what your level of expertise is in design, what product you're designing, and what kind of effort you're putting into it. So if I just have a bunch of manipulated fonts on a design, I'm probably going to charge my base minimum of $3.50 because I don't have any extra flourishes or elements added onto that design to justify a higher price point. Somebody can easily put a bunch of text together on a file themselves and manipulate it the way that they want, and it doesn't really take any time at all. So why charge a ton for something like that? As far as digital papers go, you know, if I have the same pattern, we'll just say dots, for example, seamless dots, and I change the background and the foreground colors on that, I'm going to charge differently than if I had 12 different individual patterns in a pack. So just keep that in mind. And also remember that time is money, right? So you should be charging what you're putting into it as well. While you're continuing to make money off of one file, just keep in mind what your end user is using that for. And generally, it is for commercial purposes for them to create products to sell in their boutiques or their shops or whatever it might be. Another thing that I consider when I'm pricing my files is what would I pay for it? And I usually try to keep that in the back of my mind. So think to yourself, hey, if I was on Etsy and I was looking for a design, what would I pay? And then kind of price from there. I'm constantly adjusting prices and providing sales so that way I can keep my items at the forefront of Etsy and other places. So just keep that in the back of your mind. The other thing that you need to take into account when you're pricing is any fees that may come up while you're selling. And I've kind of listed here on Etsy, they charge 20 cents a listing. And if you have the item on auto renew, which most of our digital files are, you'll be charged another 20 cents when the item renews after its sale. They also have a 5% transaction fee, and then they charge a 3% payment transaction fee plus 25 cents base in the United States. And they do have payment processing fees based on the location of your bank account. So you can see here that based off of what country you're in and where your bank account is located, they will charge a certain percentage for a payment fee plus a base number, okay? And when you scroll down here, you can see for the United States, it's 3% plus 25. For Canada, domestic orders, it's 3% plus 25 Canadian dollars. And then for international orders, it's 4% plus 25 cents, or 25 Canadian cents. And then this changes based off of where you're located. So I did include a link to that in my blog. So go ahead and click on that if need be. All right. So I went ahead and broke this down for a $1 listing versus a $3.50 listing. So when you start with $1, okay? You list the item. That's going to dock you 20 cents. So you're at 80 cents. You have your 5% transaction fee, and 5% of $1 is 5 cents. So now you're down to 75 cents. Then you have your transaction fee if you're in the United States, which is 3% or 3 cents plus 25 cents, which is another 28 cents. So you are literally making 47 cents off a $1 file because more than half is taken in fees. You also need to take into consideration that once that sells, you're going to be relisted for 20 cents if you have auto renew on. So you're literally looking at a 27-cent profit. I would say that that's going to take quite a while to add up, right? Now, keep in mind, I do have a list of dollar deals in my shop that I provide once a month as kind of like an incentive for people to keep coming back. So at the end of the month, I clear that list of 10 out and I add 10 more. I do that regularly. I think it's a fun thing. It does give me some more foot traffic, and it's a way for me to provide files on Etsy for a lower price, okay? So for a $3.50 listing, again, you get your 20-cent listing fee, which brings you down to $3.30. Your 5% transaction fee, it's going to be much higher. It's going to be 18 cents versus 5 cents because your profit or your base listing price is higher, bringing you down to $3.12. And then you have your transaction fee, which is the base of 25 cents plus 3%, okay? And that's going to equate to 36 cents, bringing your profit margin to $2.76. So you can see that there is a huge difference between the above. We're talking a magnitude of almost 1,000%, okay? Because you're looking at moving the decimal point 2 times, right? So if you take into account what that difference is, you're going to make a lot more profit on a higher priced item than you would on a lower priced item. So when I'm looking at single files for SVGs, I normally base this as like my baseline. If I just have text only with no images and extra designs, depending on how many words are on it and how big the design is, it can be anywhere from $3.50 to $4.25. If it's text with limited images, it can be anywhere from $4 to $4.25. And then if I have images that are all black with some text, it's $4 to $4.75. And then images with color and text, which are more intricate designs, it can go anywhere from $4.25 to $5. Now these change based off of what I'm seeing in terms of sales, and I try to adjust prices and see if I get more revenue or not, and you can try to do the same thing. And there's also a website out there called GetVela, I believe that's how you pronounce it, .com. And when you go here, you can actually link your Etsy account and you can bulk edit everything. So it's actually very helpful because you can click on all of the listings and you can click edit and you can go down to price and you can increase it by a certain amount. You can change the cents to a certain amount. You can decrease it by a certain amount. You can change all of them to the same price. And you can do this by a money amount or a percentage. Once you change that, you will click sync updates and it will update your Etsy shop with all of your new prices. And I generally use this if I'm going to do like a 5% base increase. That's what I'll go through to use. So GetVela is a very good tool for bulk Etsy listing editing. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about SVG bundles. This price is subjective depending on what you're offering. I mean, I try to keep my files, my single files in a bundle between 50 cents to $1 a file. And I never drop the price below 50 cents in a file when I'm using a bundle format. For example, if I had 100 files in a bundle, I wouldn't charge any less than $50 unless they're very basic quote text files, and then I may drop it down to $20 or 80% off. It's really subjective as far as what you're looking at bundle wise, and if you go into my shop and click on bundles, you can see that these state bundles are listed at $5. I have this twin bodysuit bundle, and this bundle actually comes with, I believe it's 24 different designs, and it's priced basically half off, and you get 2 files in each for a twin bodysuit bundle. I have a funny definition SVG bundle, which is just words for $9. And that actually comes with, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 different designs. But again, I'm not going below that 50-cent base limit. And I actually don't have a ton of bundles up in my shop right now, but, you know, I'm working on adding more as time permits, okay? And it just depends, again, on who your customer is and what you're trying to provide for them. If you are a digital paper seller, I usually charge anywhere between $4 to $8, depending on how many papers are in a pack and what I'm looking at in that regard. And clip art is a tough one because it really depends on what your level or your artistic level is, what you're providing, how detailed it is, if it's hand drawn, if it's created on the computer, how many elements or graphics that you have. So what I recommend to people when they're trying to price their clip art or their paper is to go do a search on Etsy and look and see what other people are pricing their work at and try to find like a mid-grade price. And that's usually like a good starting point. And you can see here, these are all my dollar deals, and these will be changing in about a week. And then you can click on different sections and see how other things are priced depending on the intricacies of what you're looking at. And again, it's really dependent on what you're looking for, how basic it is. I mean, you can see these ones have a little bit of graphics in them, but they're still based off of a 350. There are some prices I actually need to adjust on here because they are a little bit high. And really, I mean, you're just looking to be competitive with other people, but also, again, not selling yourself short. And you can see that the prices vary depending on the intricacy of the design. So I guess to recap, really what you want to do is, first off, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Price your files how you are comfortable pricing them. Don't sell yourself short, because this is work, right? You're putting a lot of work in. I'm just going to show you my design bundle shop. They have their base price is $4. So I would say probably 80% of my files are priced at $4. You can see I do have some paper packs here that are a little bit more expensive, but these generally come with, in this case, this one comes with 16 different glitter papers, and they're different colors, but since there's 16 of them, I do charge a little bit more. And then I provide other things like paper overlays, which you can use to overlay in different design programs and get different effects. And basically this white here is transparent, and you can overlay it in different programs. So that's kind of a neat thing to provide that is a little bit different. And I do have a bunch of different overlays here in my shop that are seamless, that I price at about $6, and you get 12 different overlays. And I kind of show you, if you have a black square and you load one of these overlays, then this is what you would be achieving with that. So it's kind of a cool little trick. But back to the pricing, like I'll just type in teacher SVG for the sake of this. You can see there's 28,000 results. And when you scroll down, you can see the ones with the bestseller badges. I mean, here you see somebody has a file at 150. Yes, it's a bestseller, but how much money are they really making off this? I guess if they're selling it thousands and thousands of times, then it's okay to lower those prices. And I mean, when you are having a lot of foot traffic and you're gaining more revenue, then you definitely want to lower your prices to be more competitive, right? That's a very useful thing when you are considering what's selling and what's not. So just keep that in mind. And I'm going to pause this real quick because I just want to check on something. Hold on. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys some bundle pricing that is out there, and you can see some ridiculous things come up. And I just typed in SVG bundle, and there are 50,000 results basically. And you can see some people are selling every single file in their shop for like 25 bucks. And it's like insane. These people here, 2,000 files with 330 fonts for $9. I mean, how can you really compete with that? You can't. But the reality is a lot of these, and I'm not trying to bash some of these, because I know like this person right here, Caillou, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's in several different crafting groups. She does provide lower prices for her bundles, but they're really good cut files. So, I mean, and they're pretty basic, right? So how much time is she putting into a lot of these when they're just kind of like the same design over and over? And I'm not knocking that. I mean, I think that you're getting a really good bang for your buck on this. And so I do highly recommend, if you know somebody who is a good, well-known designer, that if they're offering bundles like this, scoop them up while you can, okay? And you can see that she has a really good review rating, and she's made a ton of sales. And you really have to make sure somebody's reputable before you go and buy a bunch of their bundle files, because you can buy some of these and they're just really horribly traced files, and it's just not worth it in the long run. So do your research. Make sure you're pricing the way that you feel comfortable. And if something isn't selling, then just do a check and adjust, right? You can always do a check and adjust. I mean, I've been selling digital files since the tail end of 2018, and I've made over 2,000 sales, which to me is a lot considering I don't put a ton of time into this every week. And some of these are very basic files, and others are ones that I put a lot of time and effort into. But for the most part, I try to create designs that are very simple and bold and easy to cut. So if you have any questions on pricing or need any help, feel free to give me a holler. I'm more than happy to help. And I hope y'all took something out of this. Again, if you got something out of this video, please click like and subscribe below. That's going to keep me motivated to keep teaching you guys. And I'll catch you on the flip side.